Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making bread rolls, also referred to as dinner rolls, using no butter, no milk and no eggs. They came out absolutely delicious. They're so soft and you wouldn't even notice that there's no eggs in them. So without further ado, let's get started. To begin, you're going to need a cup of warm water, some dry active yeast, about half a cup of sugar, some olive oil, and then you're going to stir the whole thing up for a little bit. And you'd have to ensure that you're using warm water because it's going to help the yeast become activated. Next, we're going to add 4 cups of plain flour, some freshly grated nutmeg, and I must have used the equivalent of around a teaspoon here, as well as a little bit of salt. So once all of these ingredients have been added up, we're going to go ahead and mix them with our hand to begin with. If you have a mixer for this, you can also go ahead and use a bread mixer. That's perfectly fine. I just went ahead and used my hand because I wanted to show that it's possible to also do it this way. So to begin with, it's going to be a little bit sticky, but just bear with it, carry on, and you will obtain a nice dough. And once everything has been brought together, you can transfer your dough onto a surface. I would suggest actually that you flour the surface a little bit. It will make things a bit easier. So I went ahead and just kneaded this as best as I could using both of my hands, and the whole process must have taken me about 15 minutes, and you want to obtain a nice elasticated dough. Thank you for sticking with me so far. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe. And here we have it. This is the consistency that you are looking out for. Your dough should spring back when you press onto it lightly, so this is your end result. So now we are going to let the dough rest. So I just oiled a bowl very lightly, and we're going to add our dough in it. And this is going to have to rest for about an hour, or at least until it doubles in size. So I'm just covering this in cling film as well as a kitchen towel, and we can let it rest in a warm surface for around an hour. It's been an hour later and the dough has risen, it's doubled in size, and you can tell from this that your bread is going to look amazing. So I'm just punching the dough up a little bit to get rid of the air, and this is a very quick process. And once you've done this, you can transfer the dough onto your work surface. So I'm just going to flatten the dough up a bit. You may use a roller if you prefer, but this is a very quick process. I'm just going to flatten it so that I can divide it into, I decided in the end, 15 pieces. Now, there's several ways of going about doing this. The easiest way is to just kind of eyeball your dough and figure out how you can divide it into equal-ish sizes. I mean, this is not a perfect kitchen by any means, so I just kind of eyeballed it and used my knife to divide it into 15 pieces. But some people use rulers and the like, you know, I mean, I thought that it was a little bit labor intensive. So 15 pieces later, we're going to have to shape them into rolls. So I'm going to show you 2 ways of going about doing this. This is the first method. So I'm just rolling the piece onto itself, making sure that I tuck it in each time. And then you turn it up with the seam side up and then roll it again. And when you form your dough this way, you will ensure that the roll has a few layers within them, which is a nice way of achieving that. And then once you've rolled them up, you just have to tuck them onto the sides like so, and then you turn it around and make sure that you secure it and then roll it about. And there you have it. Your first roll is done, nice and easy. And now the second method. So basically we're going to take our piece and just kind of tuck it onto its sides all the way around until you achieve a nice circle. Once that's been done, you turn it onto the side with the seam side up and secure the dough. That's about it really. Once you've secured it and made sure that everything is nicely sealed, you just use your hand to roll the dough onto the surface. So here we go, our second roll is ready, and we carry on with the remaining pieces until they've all been shaped into nice rolls and organized onto a platter like so. So I'm using this bread dish, and I lined it up beforehand because I didn't want them to stick to the surface. So now they will have to proof for a second time. So I'm covering this in cling film as well as a kitchen towel, and I'm leaving this in a warm environment for around 45 minutes to double up in size. So as you can see, it's been 45 minutes later and our dough is nice and big. These are now ready to be moved into a preheated oven at 170 degrees Celsius or 338 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 30 minutes. So as I always say, each oven varies greatly, so it might take a little bit longer or less long to cook your bread. Et voila, I left my bread to bake for 40 minutes actually, and this is your end result, and I was really pleased with it. To add a little extra touch, I thought it would be nice to brush them with some form of spread. So we're not using butter, right? So I'm using some vegetable spread which are melted in the microwave, and now we're just going to go ahead and brush each of the rolls to get a nice glistening and appetizing looking roll. And here we have it, the most beautiful looking rolls if I ever saw one. And they're not just pretty on the outside, they also tasted pretty nice. And I thought that the nutmeg that we added this extra touch. It's quite unusual to put nutmeg in roll, but it really does work. And I'll show you in a minute. These were nice and flaky and soft. And I strongly recommend that you try these at home. They're not that difficult to make, and it's so rewarding to make bread at home as opposed to buying it. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Hit the like button if you did. I hope to see you very soon on my next video. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Bye.